Um, so this is a story about the seer of Lublin. Um, and it goes like this. So I heard from the holy seer of Lublin that while he was praying, he was also taking his tobacco. And somebody asked him, somebody by the name of Rav Moshe Zalmans, asked him, "Don't you think it's inappropriate to smoke on your tobacco while you're praying?" This is the seer of Lublin, right? So he gave him also a parable. So he said there was one king walking down the market, and he saw one of the elders, one of the poor elders, um, playing his violin. Um, and the king liked his music so much, he decided he wanted that poor violinist to come and play in his castle palace. Thank you. And so every day he would come and play to the king, and every time his strings were ripping apart, and every time the king had to wait hours until he would replace the string. And one of the servants of the kings who loved the king said to that violinist, "Don't you think that you're being disrespectful to the king? And don't you think it's like a rebel, right? To disrespect like that the king, and you should prepare your violin before you come to the king every day." And the old man said to him, um, "There are plenty of violinists out there with a good violin, but they're not me, right? And if the king wanted them, he would have them. And but obviously, the king wants me with my poor violin and the music that I make with my violin." So, so he says, the same way God has dozens and dozens or millions and millions of angels, and each one of us is God's angel, and each one of us serves God with their own violin and with their own way, right? We just have to find our own inner truth of what we serve Hashem with, right? So it's like if you would just have that envision it for a minute, right? Like this great rabbi, you come to this great rabbi, and in the middle of the davening, he's smoking a cigarette. What would that look like? Now, this is the seer of Lublin, the holy of holiest, who has the most unbelievable powers of seeing beyond, right? And he's smoking his tobacco in the middle of the davening, right? So, and then he comes and tells us basically everybody has their way of serving Hashem. It's unbelievable, right? Like it's incomprehensible, right? Because we're living in such an established kind of Judaism that it's hard for us to even imagine it, right?
It's like I think there's a subtext there also. Is the servant came like Korach with arrogance. The servant could have come to the guy and said, "How can I help you prepare your violin before you go to the king?" And that would have been both serving the violinist and the king.
And the king.
And that would have been not with arrogance.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Another one?